Welcome to this episode of Ready Aesthetics. This is Feibi Liu, physician assistant. Today I want to talk about clients that you may get for botulinum toxin injection that have larger forehead areas and what you can do to address it with the client and potentially some adjustments that you may need to do. Now, one of the first things that, this is a client of mine, and you know, he's a great gentleman, seen him for years. And remember, first thing that we always have to be aware of is looking for if there's any type of heaviness on the brow, or I would call hooded eyes. In this case, this gentleman doesn't seem like he has really hooded eyes or heavy eyebrow set. So I think in terms of what we're about to do for him, he did request that he want his forehead wrinkles to be treated. So one of the first things that I am looking at is the size of the forehead. In this case, this gentleman has a larger forehead size. But what's very helpful is not only looking at the forehead size, I'm also wanting to look at wrinkle areas. Okay, I want to see potentially how wrinkly it is. And so I did ask him to make that lift your forehead up technique. And as you can see that his wrinkles are all the way through the forehead. In fact, you not only see as one deck, two deck, it's 1, 2, 3. I call this a triple decker. So that's something that you may want to notice, because if you follow this general rule, which is do Botox above the midline of the forehead, if we just did that, you would leave a lot of wrinkles below the midline, and he'll be smooth on top, but then he'll scrunch on the middle area, and that would not be good. So in this case, we do want to treat all the way through the region, but at the same time not making him feel a heavy brow or hooded. And it's really good that this gentleman is not, my client here, doesn't have hooded eyes or heavy brow. First thing we know, let's draw our marks. Okay, so I would again start with the midline. Okay, but I would go a little bit lower this time, since it is a larger area. So kind of mid and a little bit lower. And so since I know I'm going to be treating a larger area, I would still do my standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would just go across, maybe 1 centimeter apart, all the way across the forehead area, and that'll tell you the injection points. Now, as I'm going down, I'm going to go lesser in amount of units, because I want to have more control over the area. So in this case, I was maybe still, since there's still margin in that. Okay, hold on a second. I'm having a haywire here. So I would still put a little, maybe a potential unit here, area there, maybe potential area there to cover the upper areas. Sometimes if their hairline's really high up, you'll see a little wiggly in those areas because you didn't cover it in terms of Botox. Now, as we go down, I could put smaller units across, okay? And even very tiny ones on the edges so that they don't get the arches. So this is a potential way to handle this client's forehead. But as you can tell, there's a lot of dots. And so you probably do not want to underdose or underconsult with the client. So you have to say, you know, your forehead potentially need 20 to 30 units on your forehead alone if you want it to be adequately treated. Now, the thing you're going to get from the client is, I don't need that many, that's too much, that's too much. You could, the recommended Allergan dosage is 20 units for a forehead. That's just for a standard, but imagine if you have a larger forehead. In this case, I would tell the client, you probably can't get away with minimum 25. But definitely 30 we could do really well with. Now, in terms of the dosages, you know, these are just recommendations, so you want to refer to the standard dosages by the company itself. Now, as far as if we're looking at the corrugators, as you can tell, he wanted to treat the middle brow area and the top of there. One of the things that I noticed first, that these are very deep grooves right there. Although they can be improved by relaxing the corrugator muscles outwards, they may not completely go away. Just like a piece of paper that's folded, if you open the paper up, it's still folded. And you could still kind of see the crease there. Now, the thing is, you can see very thick corrugators in these areas and a very thick procerus. So in this situation, we definitely want to do the 5-point injection. One right in the procerus area, and you can map it out right where the beginning of the eyebrow, a little bit above, and right in the body of the corrugator itself. Again, right above. You don't want to make the mistake of going too high up when you're doing the injections. And so the idea is that if I go higher up, I'm not going to droop the eye, because you might actually miss the corrugator and hit the frontalis muscle, which can cause heaviness or ptosis in that area. So this is how I would handle this client. And we did treat him. He was very happy with the result. And I hope in the future videos I will show you more before and afters of the clients.